Hey there, Ken Zorvich, NFM Lending. Hope you're having an excellent start to your weekend. So, a lot of economic news this last week of January. So, wanted to dive into it. Want to talk a little bit about real estate statistics. I want to talk about the Fed meeting and what to make of the press conference Jerome Powell had. And we'll touch on some inflation as we finished out the week here. All right, so let's talk some real estate stats. So, there's a ton of real estate stats out there. I like diving into them. The one that I keep looking at, though, is inventory. Inventory is on the rise, and we're seeing like some pre-pandemic levels of the amount of homes on the market right now. Now, the only difference between, say, 2019 or into 2020 at this time of year has to do with the amount of buyers that were in the market then. Right now, there's just less buyers in the market. There's no other way to look at it. So, from a buyer's perspective, that's great. More properties, more opportunities, more maybe negotiating power. For sellers, you're now competing against other sellers and builders and people like that to get your home sold. So keep that in mind as you're entering the market, whether you're on the buy side, sell side, or both. That there's advantages that can be had no matter what you're trying to do. You just need a plan going into it. All right, next, let's talk about the Fed. So the Fed met on Wednesday and decided not to lower rates, but that wasn't a shock. There was about a 99%, I guess, overall consensus. They didn't think the Fed would lower rates. So what did they kind of put out there? Well, they still think inflation's a bit high, or what they like to call sticky. It's not coming down to their 2% mark. It's made some progress, but it's sort of stuck in this mid to high 2 range on most readings. And unemployment's still low, so they don't necessarily have a desire to lower interest rates anytime soon. It just kind of reiterated their position of we're open to doing it a couple times this year, but it's got to be data driven. So what they're basically saying is they want to wait and see what happens with inflation or unemployment. Now, I personally think that unemployment is going to be the reason that will get them off their seats and want to lower interest rates before inflation. And that's only because we've kind of hit this mid patch here with inflation where we're sort of in the high twos, and we might see that stick around for some this year. Getting exactly to that 2% may not happen anytime soon, but we could see unemployment start rising. And if we do, then that would be the reason they would be lowering interest rates sooner than later. Right now, what's the impact that it has on mortgage rates? Well, mortgage rates are still hovering sort of around this 7% mark. Can't really break below that on most days. It's hovering right around there. But we're hoping to see that improve as the year goes on, and give people some more options, whether they're looking to sell their property, buy a new property, or maybe even refinance. There are some people that have been reaching out about debt consolidation as well. Now, finally, let's talk inflation. So, as I mentioned, this is a big topic for the Fed. The last inflation reading came out for the month of January, and it came in basically at target, like what the estimates were. It pretty much hit that, which means it didn't really go up and it didn't really go down. It kind of stayed flat. Now, I personally think that we're going to start to see these inflation readings improve as we get into February. I think what we'll find is that the inflation readings that are going to come out for the month of January will be better than the January 2024 ones, and that will give us some room to go down inflation, and the markets are going to like that. So we could start seeing some improvement in interest rates as we get into the month of February. So listen, if you have any questions on this or want to chat about it, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you get in some time with some friends and family this weekend. And as always, I'd love to be in this business in 5 years. If you know someone looking to purchase or refinance, please think of me. Have a great weekend.